What do you know about Wales? That's Wales the country, not the big fish. Learn all about the Welsh and their beautiful country and traditions in this episode of
Aprender Inglés con Reza y Craig.
If you are a new listener to the podcast, welcome. My name's Craig.
And my name's Reza.
And together with all our 45, 46, I don't know how many years we've been teaching, with all of our years of teaching, we're going to help you perfect your pronunciation, grow your grammar, and vocalize your vocabulary, taking all of your aspects of English to the next level. Hi, Reza.
How are you, Craig?
I'm feeling great, my friend. How are you?
I'm very well myself.
I have a feeling we might have some feedback this week. What do you think, Reza?
I think there's a strong possibility.
And I think it might be from our friend Mamin.
Hi Craig, hi Reza, Happy New Year. This is Mamin from Viescas. How are you doing? I hope everything's been great. This last Christmas, here I am walking with our lovely dog Cathy. Cathy, say hello to Craig and Reza. Well, I think she doesn't speak right now. So, well, I want to share with you one of my first resolutions for this new 2018. I think it's a good thing to do. I listened to it in one of your podcasts, I think. So I'm started just right this morning to record an audio diary. So I want to record at least 2 minutes every day, speaking about what happened to me the day before I am recording it. So I think this time should be the time because I can't wait anymore to start studying English. So that's all for now. Well, I am a bit with a flu. I know you can hear me in my voice, but I'm better right now. So thank you very much, and a big kiss and a big hug. Sorry for sending this in a voice note because my SpeakPi application doesn't work in iPhone. So a big kiss. Bye, guys.
Well, thank you very much, Mamin. As ever, it's lovely to hear from you, and a Happy New Year to you too.
And hi to Katie, your dog.
Well, as ever, Mamin, your message was very clear. Your pronunciation was very good. But Craig, have you any comments or thoughts on that?
A couple of thoughts about the content of Mamin's message. But first, one slight error I heard at the end. Mamin said, I am with a flu. Better to say, I've got the flu. Or I had the flu and now it's getting better. So the flu is something you have or you get. So you can say, I've got the flu or I have the flu. Same with a cold. I've got a cold or I have a cold.
And we're really glad that we've helped inspire you to do your own audio diary. Keep us posted. Let us know how it's going.
I think that's a wonderful New Year's resolution. That's a wonderful goal to set yourself for the weeks and months ahead. And I think Mamin got that idea from episode 186, where we spoke with our friend Anna, who suggested different self-study tips and ways to improve your English. So if you want to listen to that episode, go to inglespodcast.com/186.
I bet it's cold up there in Viescas now, is it? I'm sitting here nice and cozy with my t-shirt on that you gave me as a present from Sabiñánigo. Do you remember, Mamin, the one with the bulls on the bicycles riding through the Pyrenees? I'm wearing that t-shirt right now, nice and cozy and warm. But I bet if I were in Sabiñánigo or Viescas right now, it wouldn't be so warm, I bet. So wrap up well, eh?
New Year's resolution, making goals, making decisions to improve your English. Remember, like Mamin, make sure your goals are SMART. And we've spoken about SMART goals before. SMART. When you set your goal for learning English, make sure it's very specific. Make sure it's measurable, que puedes medirlo. Achievable, que puedes conseguir. Relevant, that's the R, relevant or realistic. And time-based. So Mamin said she's going to record an audio diary. That's very specific. She's going to do it every day. That's time-based. It's quite easy now on the phone, so it's a realistic goal to have. It's very achievable because she can probably find a few minutes, maybe in her lunch break or when she gets home from work, to do it. So it's very achievable. And measurable, well, we'll wait until Mamin sends a message in 2 or 3 months and we see if her English has improved. So that's how you measure it. You record your voice, you wait a couple of months, doing it every day, you record your voice again and you compare your pronunciation, your grammar, to see if it's improved. And that's how you measure the achievement of your goal. And one extra thing that Mamin did that I really, really like, accountability. She's making herself accountable. She told us she's going to do it. So now she is accountable to us for doing it. Do you hear us, Mamin? You have to do it now because you told us. So we expect to hear your feedback in a few weeks and tell us how it's going.
Craig, we have some more feedback. This time it's an email from one of our Patreon sponsors, Igor Garmendia de la Vega.
Wonderful name. I love that name.
And he's written to you, so would you like to read it out?
Sure. He says, "Hi Craig, about the topics for your future programs, next year perhaps I'm going to work for some weeks or months with my company in Wales. Close to Newport, the company where I work has built a new factory and it's very probable I'll have to go there. I work as an electrician or a sparky, as you say colloquially, yeah, sparky is electrician, in a company that makes all kinds of trains. The thing is that I know nothing about Wales, their history, how they speak, their accent, their customs, etc. So what could you tell me about Wales? Have either of you been there?" Have you been there, Reza?
Actually, I haven't. I've never been to Wales.
I've been there twice, once on a school trip when I was very, very young, and then just for a few days with a friend of mine to visit another friend a few years ago, so only twice. Anyway, Igor continues, other thing, oh, you mean another thing. Una cosa más. Another thing, and this one I guess can be Reza's interest, so please make a comment to him.
I'm listening.
Did you know, Reza, that the flag of the Basque Country, Ikurriña, is that the pronunciation? Ikurriña?
Yep.
Is inspired by the Union Jack and has many similarities to it. As far as I know, in the Union Jack, each cross with its colour represents one country of the United Kingdom. In the Basque Country, they did the same, inspired by that. 3 colours for different crosses representing each one of the regions of the Basque Country. Interesting, don't you think?
I do. That's a very interesting fact. Don't you agree, Craig?
It is. I didn't know that.
Very interesting. I knew that the Basque flag looks like the British flag. I knew that, but I didn't know that they were inspired by the British flag. I didn't know that at all. Igor and all the listeners, I've got a question for you. I wonder if anybody knows why Wales, the country, not the big fish, Wales is not represented in the British flag. We're talking about Wales, but Wales is not symbolically represented in the Union Jack.
But Scotland
not?
And Northern Ireland are.
Northern Ireland, yeah. Well, let's say Ireland because it was originally devised as Ireland. The Union Jack includes St. Patrick's Cross, which is the red diagonal cross on a white background. Mm-hmm. And it includes the Scottish St. Andrew's Saltire.
With the blue and white cross.
Oh, yeah, white on the blue background. And then the St. George's Cross of England, which is a red cross on a white background. They're all there. But what about Wales? Well, the Welsh flag is, in my opinion, a beautiful flag of a dragon.
Yeah.
A dragon on a green and white background. There's no dragon. There's no green or white on the British flag.
It's a red dragon. Yeah.
A red. Why not?
Craig? I think we need a dragon on our flag.
I'd love to have a dragon on the British flag.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Have a look there on the internet. Have a look at the Welsh flag and you'll be really surprised. It looks Chinese. You know how the Chinese are really into dragons? The Welsh flag looks like something from China. So why isn't it represented on the British Union Jack? Why not?
Very good question. If you know, please write and tell us. We'll give you our email contact details.
Oh, well, I was going to tell them, actually.
Oh, you're going to tell them?
Since we're talking about Wales.
I thought you didn't know.
No, I do know, yeah.
Well,
but since we're talking about Wales, I was going to tell them.
Please tell us.
Right, since we're talking about Wales now, I'll put you out of your misery. In fact, you'll see in the show notes, which Craig wrote, he has specific dates written somewhere. I don't remember the specific dates, but a long time ago, many centuries ago, I think about maybe 7 or 8 centuries ago, technically all of Wales was annexed and became part of England. Although they called it a Principality of England.
That's after the Romans.
Annexed.
After the Romans left.
After the Romans left. So when it came to designing the original British flag, in, I don't know, 3 or 4 centuries ago, when they thought about forming the United Kingdom of Great Britain and then later Great Britain and Ireland, Wales was considered to be part of England. So therefore, if you put the English flag, the St. George's Cross on it, that already includes Wales. That's why the Welsh dragon did not appear there.
So it was taken for granted, which means it wasn't even considered. You didn't think about it. You automatically assumed that Wales was part of England.
Yeah. But of course, now that's not the case. Now Wales is considered a country in its own right, although it is part of the United Kingdom, as are Scotland and Northern Ireland. But now it's not considered an annex of England. It's Wales, which is not England. But it's too late to change the flag. It's as simple as that. The flag's been made and it's going to stay that way.
So before we speak a little bit about Wales and give Igor some information before he goes there, we've been mentioning fish. Now let's clear that up and clarify that little thing. Wales, the country, is W-A-L-E-S. Whales, the fish, ballenas, is W-H-A-L-E-S. So ballena has the H after the W. That's the difference. The pronunciation, exactly the same.
Yeah. We're saying fish, so you understand us. We do know that whales aren't really fish, by the way.
They're mammals.
Yeah, but just so you understand us. Mamíferos, mammals, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. So the adjective is Welsh. Welshman, Welsh woman, Welsh flag, W-E-L-S-H, Welsh language.
Welsh language. Do you know any Welsh language, Craig? When I ask Craig, do you know any Welsh language? In Wales, many people in the rural areas, apart from English, speak another language. It's not a dialect. It's a different language, Welsh. It's an old Celtic language.
And it's quite widely spoken, isn't it?
Yep.
It's very common to go to Wales and hear people speaking Welsh.
I think particularly in the north, isn't it? They speak it more in the north than the south, which is more rural, I believe.
Because most of the big cities are in the south of Wales.
Right. Well, I think I know how to say Wales in the Welsh language. It's Cymru, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
So it doesn't even sound like English.
Cymru.
Spanish sounds more similar. You say Gales, Wales, Gales. But in Welsh, they say Cymru.
Yeah.
Very different.
In fact, we probably know more Welsh words than we think we do, but at the moment I can't think of any.
I only know about 3 or 4 words.
What else?
My favorite one, I just couldn't believe it when I discovered this. It was my niece, that's Sabrina, who told me this. She lived in Cardiff for 3 years. We'll talk about Cardiff in a minute, the city in Wales. And she taught me the Welsh word, now let me see if I remember, pippity-pop.
Pippity-pop?
Yeah.
But that's a real Welsh word.
Pippity-pop. Or it might be poppity-peep. I'm not quite sure.
What does it mean?
Microwave.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It sounds like that when you're making popcorn.
Exactly.
Pippity-pop.
No, microwave.
Microwave.
Not popcorn, no, microwave.
No, but if you put popcorn in a microwave, that's the sound you hear.
Yeah, but I think it's more for the when it finishes and it goes pip. boom.
the digital
Ding.
sound it makes, the ding. Yeah.
Ding, 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 ping.
Yeah,
Pippity-pop.
that makes sense.
I am not making it up. It's true. I've checked it. The Welsh word for microwave is something like pippity-pop.
Well, you learn something every day. I didn't know that. What other words do you know?
That's it.
Oh, okay. So obviously Wales is part of the United Kingdom and part of the island of Great Britain. As Reza said before, there's a dragon on the flag. What about the population? How many people do you think live in Wales?
I'm not sure. I would have thought it was about 5 million. Is that right?
That's what I would have thought. It's actually just over 3 million. So not that many. It doesn't have many people in it. The population's low. The capital and the largest city with nearly 500,000 inhabitants is Cardiff. Some of you may have heard of Cardiff, the capital of Wales. And it's not very big. It's only 20,779 squared kilometres. That's the country, not the city. So the country of Wales, 20,779 square kilometres.
It has plenty of coastline, though, for such a small country. So the coastline is very, very rugged. RUGGED. That means there are a lot of curves in it. It's not straight. Because there are 2,700 kilometres of coastline, which is quite a lot for such a little country.
And Scotland tends to be famous for its mountains. Scotland in the Highlands has the highest mountains in the United Kingdom. But there's a mountain in Wales that is the third highest in the UK, over 1,000 metres, Mount Snowdon, which is quite famous, actually, Mount Snowdon. So Wales is quite a mountainous country. It has a lot of mountains.
After the Romans left Britain, as Craig said earlier, about the 5th century, that's when the Welsh identity began to be formed. And Wales today is seen as one of the modern Celtic nations. That's Celtic. I mentioned before that's pronounced Celtic, not Celtic, Celtic. Those nations are Ireland and Scotland, obviously, Wales, and also the lesser known Brittany in France, Cornwall in the southwest of England, and the Isle of Man, La Isla de Man. The 6 Celtic nations. Wales is one of them.
So as Reza mentioned with the flag thing earlier, the whole of Wales was annexed by England, and it came into the English legal system under the Laws in Wales Acts from 1535 to 1542. So that's when Wales was annexed by England.
But not all Welsh people are so pleased about that. Some people in Wales want independence from the UK.
That's a familiar thing these days. It's happening everywhere.
Think Northern Ireland, think Scotland, think Spain. Let's not get into politics. Yeah, you all know about it. There's a political party. It's got a Welsh name. I think it's pronounced Plaid Cymru or something like that. I think that means the Party of Wales, as far as I know. And they were formed quite a long time ago in 1925. But it's only recently that they've become quite strong in the government. They're a social democratic political party and they want independence for Wales inside the European Union. Does that sound familiar to a lot of Spanish listeners?
Where have I heard that before? As far as language is concerned, Wales is officially bilingual. Obviously, English is spoken in Wales. And Igor asked about the accent. Yes, there is a distinct Welsh accent. Now, Reza, you're very good with accents. Can you give us an example of a Welsh accent, boyo?
I'm not good. I think yours is better than mine, boyo. I'm not that great at Welsh.
No, that doesn't sound very
good. I can't do Welsh. I think most people find Welsh accents difficult.
Yeah.
It's not many people do them convincingly, do they? It's not easy to do.
If you go onto YouTube and search for Welsh accent, I'm sure you'll you'll find examples of it. But yeah, it does have a very distinctive accent. And the Welsh Language Society, to promote the Welsh language, was formed fairly recently in 1962. So bilingual, English and Welsh. And some English people sometimes make fun of the Welsh language because the words tend to be very, very long, and the words tend to have a lot of consonants in them, and they're very, very hard for non-Welsh speakers to pronounce. And that can be a subject of maybe jokes or something, but it is a beautiful language. It is very musical, and it's also very much part of the culture.
Now, as Craig mentioned earlier, it's in the south of Wales where most of the big towns and cities are. The capital, Cardiff's in the south, also Swansea, and Newport, which is the city or the town, I should say, the city or town where Igor is going to live. And also quite a lot of people live in the nearby valleys in the south of Wales. That's 2/3 of the population live there. So only about 1/3 live from the middle bit north. That's probably why it's in North Wales that more people speak Welsh than in the south of Wales, because it's more rural, a bit quieter, a bit more rustic.
As far as industry and economics is concerned, Wales, especially South Wales, used to have a reputation for mining coal. So coal, carbon, used to be a huge source of income for Wales years ago. Although these days most of the income comes from light industries and also service industries and tourism. Lots of tourism, hotels, that kind of thing brings in money these days to Wales.
Speaking of culture, singing is very, very important to the Welsh, particularly male voice singing. All male choirs are often associated with Wales, as is rugby. So the same Welsh person might be a big guy, a big heavy guy, strong guy who plays rugby, and in the evening sings songs in the choir. I like that kind of balance of the tough, sporty character and the musical character in one person. That's always appealed to me.
Yeah, that's when I think of Wales, those are the two things that come to mind first. Beautiful singing and very, very talented rugby players. In fact, the passion for rugby in Wales is similar, in my opinion, to the passion for rugby in New Zealand with the All Blacks. It's very much a part of the culture. So if you like rugby, Igor, you're going to the right place.
One last bit of trivia about Wales. As most British people know, the longest place name in the United Kingdom is a place in Wales, but not many of us know how to pronounce it. I'm not one of them.
No, me neither.
But if you look at our show notes, you can see written the name of this village in Wales, which seems like a joke. It's hard to believe. It's one word, but it is. Have a look at our show notes and you'll see the name of the longest place name in the United Kingdom.
And I would say if it's the first time you're seeing this, it's impossible to pronounce. It's unpronounceable. You can see that place name at inglespodcast.com/192. And it's a real place.
Carrying on with talking about culture, there are plenty of famous Welsh people in the world of culture. You will have heard of some of them.
Definitely. They're very famous people, and maybe you didn't know that they come from Wales. Richard Burton, the actor.
Dylan Thomas, the poet.
Another popular actor, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Is she still married to Michael Douglas, or did they get divorced?
I think they're still married, but I don't know. They certainly were married. By the time this podcast comes out, they may be divorced. I don't know, but they certainly were at one time married.
Another famous person, a philosopher, Bertrand Russell, is Welsh. Mm-hmm. Was Welsh.
Yeah, and one that Craig told me about, I didn't know, the famous writer, particularly of children's books, Roald Dahl was Welsh. Very good writer for children's books.
Anthony Hopkins, famous actor. He comes from Wales.
You may have heard of the Laura Ashley brand. So Laura Ashley was a fashion designer who was born in Wales.
I didn't know that, actually. That's news for me. Shirley Bassey, famous singer.
Famous for many of you, but perhaps not for all of you. Some of the younger listeners might not know her. Think James Bond.
Diamonds Are Forever.
Diamonds Are Forever. Diamonds Are Forever. You know that James Bond song? That's her. That's Shirley Bassey.
I think she sang more than one James Bond theme tune, didn't she?
Yeah.
Maybe 3?
Maybe, yeah. But for some reason, she's really, really associated with James Bond. Even though plenty of people have sung for James Bond, she's the one which everybody remembers. Another singer, which I'm sure all of you, unless you're very, very young, have heard of, is Tom Jones.
Tom Jones.
Tom Jones, yeah. It ain't unusual to love and all that.
You may not know this name, but you possibly might know the face of this actor, Michael Sheen. He is fairly popular in films and on TV, and he was Tony Blair in the film The Queen with Helen Mirren, also Welsh.
That's Michael Sheen, not Martin Sheen.
Who's American?
Who's American, the guy who did Apocalypse Now, and certainly not Charlie Sheen. It's best not to talk about him at all, really.
Moving on. The singer Charlotte Church, she's Welsh.
And some of you may know the Welsh actor, particularly comedy actor, Rob Brydon. He's a very funny guy.
Yeah, and very talented. He's a singer too.
And very good impersonator.
Yeah. And another actor, Rhys Ifans, who was in Notting Hill with Hugh
Grant.
Hugh Grant, thank you. And he was in Spider-Man too, another very famous actor. So many actors, many singers, and many famous people from Wales.
You've just got me thinking about something, Craig. Mm-hmm. Hugh Grant. Hugh, isn't that a very Welsh name? Hugh, come here, Hugh, for your dinner. No? Certainly the surname Hughes is very Welsh, isn't it?
Hughes is. Emlyn Hughes.
Yeah, the Liverpool football player from Wales. Yeah.
Now it's your turn to practice your English. Have you ever been to Wales? What did you think of it? If you went, please send us a voice message and tell us your opinion on Wales. You can send us a message via speakpipe.com/Inglés podcast. And at the beginning of the podcast, Mammon said she was having problems using SpeakPipe on the iPhone. Yes, on the iPhone, on the iPad, on any Apple device, you do need to download a separate application. In the App Store, search for SpeakPipe. It's free. Put it on your phone, and then you can send us a message using that app. If you have an Android phone, you can go directly to the website, and then it works with no problems. You could also send us an email with a comment or question to me, Craig, at inglespodcast.com.
Or to me at belfastreza@gmail.com.
And we'd like to thank our sponsors, beginning with Bruno, our gold sponsor on Patreon, whose walking tours of Copenhagen are very well recommended by us. You can take his tours in English or Spanish, walking around Copenhagen or going to visit the castles. The website for that is copenhagenwalkingtour.com. And also Bruno has a walking tour of Rio de Janeiro around the favela area. Now, don't worry, it's perfectly safe. Bruno comes from there. He knows where to go. And running these tours gives money back to the community to improve on their daily needs and their daily life. If you'd like to look at Bruno's work, there's a link in the show notes to a documentary made by CNN that shows Bruno taking people around the favelas. So for the link to the favela walking tour, go to the website inglespodcast.com/192. Also, thank you to our Patreon sponsors who are supporting the podcast. Beatriz, Pedro, Maite, Lara, Rafa, Nestor Garcia Mañez at nestorgm.com, Maria Gervati, Lorena, Sara, Carlos Mamin, Juan Leiva Galera, Corey Finneran, Miren, José Luis, Agus, Mariel, Manuel, Jorge Raúl, Rafael, Manuel Tarazona, José Manuel, Juan Carlos, Pilar Martínez, Gambete Blog, Ana, Ego, and our latest Patreons, Ignacio Espona and Kieran. And also, of course, Bruno, our gold sponsor from CopenhagenWalkingTour.com. And don't forget that we have transcriptions of many podcasts free on the website. Thank you to Patricia Alonso, who's been doing that. We now have episodes 131 to 142 and episodes 1 to 14 on inglespodcast.com. Reza, what's next week?
Next week, we'll be talking about coffee and cafe culture.
Another favourite subject of mine, coffee. I love my coffee. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. It's goodbye from Reza.
And goodbye from Craig.
The music in this podcast is by Pitts. The track is called See You Later. Did you hear the joke about the guy who goes to the doctor and says, Doctor, I think I'm Tom Jones because I keep singing your songs. Like I woke up yesterday and I sang The Green, Green Grass of Home. And this morning I woke up and started singing Delilah. And he said, Doctor, do you think this is a common problem? And the doctor says, it's not unusual.